This podcast is proud to be part of the Talk Sport Fan Network. Talk Sport. Powered by fans.
Hi there, Blue Noses, and welcome to It's Wednesday and it's Watto. Now, last week was an amazing week. First of all, that we won 2 away games in the same week. You know, the old, you don't get one for 6 months, then 2 come along at once. But it really was an amazing turnaround, because I can't remember 60 years of us winning 2 away games in any competitions in a week. In fact, I'm struggling hard to think of times where we won 2 home games in a week. I mean, it's been at least 10 years for us to doing that. So the fact that we put in 2 real solid away performances together is remarkable, and there's no other word for it. Now, we talked about the Charlton game last week, so let's concentrate on the happenings at Wycombe Wanderers. Now, first of all, shame on you, Wycombe Wanderers, for not letting me buy a ticket. You know, I'm a 73-year-old man living in Bexhill-on-Sea, and I ain't going to cause you any trouble. I'm just going to sit and watch the game. Your attitude was ludicrous, and I noticed in the Spain Cup last night you got beat again. Well, bad luck. You're on my not wanted list at the moment. But anyway, the game itself, well, we one of the phrases that's been bandied around over the years, typical Blues. Well, we're trying very hard to not be typical Blues, and of course on Saturday we started off and we were very typical Blues. We battered the opposition for 20-25 minutes and gave away possession in their half, and one pass later the guys skinning our centre half, Mr. Clara, pulling the ball across to basically no one, and Mr. Bielik got his legs tied in a knot and turned the ball into his own net. Now, it's easy to be wise after the event, and I could see what was going on. It would have been better off missing it completely, because the ball would have just passed by. Where the goalkeeper was during this period, I ain't quite sure. But it wasn't a pretty picture of defensive work, and there's no doubt about that. Now, the 2 centre halves involved probably didn't put a foot wrong after that. So, it was a one-off peculiarity, and it was typical Blues. Now, before the end of the first half, we got the chance to see the combination which I think is going to feature over and over again in our season, and that's a cross from Laird, and if Laird crosses it, Alfie may score a goal. Get it? Anyway, that's what happened. There was a crossfield ball, and Ethan Laird leapt into the sky almost, well, probably 2 feet off the ground, brought the ball down on his chest, left the bloke for dead, smashed it into the box, where the ball, to be fair, ricocheted around a bit, but there was Alfie, Poacher Supremo, to tap it in to equalise. And we all breathed a bit of a sigh of relief, to be honest. Again, typical Blues. Then, second half, we dominated the game from beginning to 80% possession. And if you get 80% possession, you should score at least 3 goals, and that's what we did. We changed the lineup after half time. We had the first look at Mr. Yokohama, who is quick and he's got superb feet, and he skinned the fullback, whizzed the crossover, and there was young Luke Harris, who'd also come on as sub, to finish it was a great cross, but the guy had to steady himself, and he slotted it away in the corner, and there we are, 2-1. And again, the old subsided, and we're looking more and more like the winners of this game. And a few minutes later, um, they set Alfie May free. He beat a couple of people, slotted it through to Miyoshi, who'd also come on at half time. Miyoshi cut in on his left foot from the right hand side and put in a terrific effort. Goalkeeper well saved, and it came out to the edge of the box, doing that bouncy. There, Williamson steaming in, and with his left foot, you're holding your breath because this bouncing ball, it could go anywhere, but it didn't. It went straight in the middle at the back of the net with a superb finish. A superb finish. 3-1. Game's over. And we carry on dominating the game, but suddenly they escape again. The left winger is free as a bird. He puts a very good cross with the outside of his right foot, and there's folks who just come on to head over the top of Cochrane into the net. Shocking defensive. Where were our centre halves? Where was our goalkeeper? Where was the right back? And suddenly we're in panic mode. Now, to be fair, our goal was under pressure, but nothing too worrying happened until, of course, we lost a player. Mr. Williamson of Iceland was taken off with concussion. So we finished up playing the last 4 or 5 minutes. In fact, we played the last extra time, added time was 12 minutes because this injury occurred in the added time, which was originally 6 minutes, but finished up. There was 112 minutes on the clock before the referee finally blew the whistle. Much relief to everybody, but 3 well-earned points, and we're on the way. We're on the way, and I'll tell you what. Somebody is going to cop it. Somebody is going to cop it because we'll go through a game and we won't give the ball away, and we'll go through a game and we'll finish off our chances, and we'll go through a game where the opposition don't even get a sniff at our goal. It will happen, and I suspect over the season it will happen a number of times. But at the same time, there's always a danger. There's always a danger that these teams who are, it's their cup final. I don't quite go along with that. They are, they are professional footballers, and they don't get emotional. But they know that if they want to get their win bonus against us, they're going to have to do something very, very special, and that's always in the back of their minds. And we will have to put up with that, and we will have to cut out the freebies. 2 goals given away. A 3-0 win would have been perfectly reasonable, but it was a 3-2 win. No, you could say, well, it's an exciting game, or I saw it described as a 5-goal thriller. Well, it wasn't a 5-goal thriller at all because there was no thrills in it. We were 3-1 up and coasting, and then give a goal away. So, giving a goal away, is Wycombe Wanderers doing nothing. They just helped themselves to a gift. Anyway, we move on. The mighty Blue Army move on to Lake Norient, which has been the scenes of some remarkable games. I first went there to see a 15, 16-year-old Trevor Francis, 1971, who pulled the ball down with the Orient defence rushing out from a corner. He ran through the crowd, brought the ball down on his foot, flicked it over the back of his head, ran through the crowd, and volleyed it with his left foot into the far corner of the net. Game over, 1-0. That's Trevor Francis. Trevor Francis scored lots and lots of wonderful goals like that. But in those days, who was there to record it? Now the following year, and I didn't make this match. We went there to win the league. To win promotion with a goal from Bob Latchford, and there was bomb scares, and there was Millwall supporters trying to get the game abandoned, and all sorts of things went on. And it's an extremely historical game. Moving on a few years, second leg of the Leyland Daft final against Orient, when we won 3-2, having been 1 up from the first leg. We were 3-1 up in that game, and coasting, and we conceded another goal, and it all got a bit nasty. But we got through to the final and beat Carlisle in the final. Wonderful, wonderful evening. Remember it well. Then in the Premier League, we went there in a League Cup game and won again. Stern John had a night to remember that night, getting a couple of goals. And I actually, I think I've been to Orient 5 times. I did go to a game a couple of years ago when they played, I can't remember, I think it was Burton Albion, and Burton Albion wiped the floor with them. So I ain't seen Orient win in my times there. So the omens are good. Now, without sticking my neck out, that whopping could come Saturday. No disrespect to Orient, but it's our third away game on the trot, and our tactics have proved we win games playing like we do. Now, when we stop giving the ball away and get the ball to the halfway line quicker, then we won't concede goal. And how many we score is down to how many we score. If Willie May gets 5 chances, he'll get three goals. At the moment, he's getting 1 or 2 a game, and he's scoring each game. Great stuff. But we've got to send a message to these League One sides that we do mean business, and when we do start giving people a bit of a drubbing, then they will, the press, the world will wake up to what's going on. But equally, as well as I know, they could turn up on Saturday and they don't score that goal. The goalkeeper has a blinder, the defence are kicking things off the line and blah, blah, blah. And then we give the ball away and we're 1-0 down, which is basically what happened on Saturday. But we recovered. But, you're not going to do that every week. If you go a goal down, you're not going to recover every week. We've done it in 2 league games now. Best performance so far has been the Charlton game, where they never looked like scoring and we looked like scoring plenty. We didn't score plenty, but we kept a clean sheet. And if you keep a clean sheet, you can't lose. You can't lose. Before next week, we will take on Fulham FC from the Premier League in the League Cup, which should fetch in a healthy crowd, especially if they want to see Jay Stansfield this season. He will almost certainly play against us, really. I mean, this obnoxious manager of theirs who keeps changing his mind every 5 minutes will. Now the situation seems to be that he ain't coming to Blues. Will delight in thumbing his nose at us by putting him in and hoping he gets a couple of goals. Well, I just think it will spur Birmingham on, and again, League Cup trials are not very long normally, and usually a fixture like this ends our interest in cups. Now, let's change that, boys. Let's change that. Let's really show the world. It'll be live on TV. Show the world that we are ready to take on the best that there can be. And win, lose or draw, it's the performance really that we need. And as I've said before, a cup run would do us no harm. Do us no harm. If we can get through this round, the likes of Man United, Man City, and Spurs, and all those will suddenly appear. And there's another team somewhere around here who will, I think they'll be in it that week. So the financial possibilities are immense. Now, again, uh, last week I was concerned about the strength of the side we would put out against Charlton. Now, we're in a fortunate position. No matter how many changes we make, and this is great management by Chris Davis. Whatever we put out, unless we start putting out teenagers into the side, if we put our second string out, it's still good for most of the teams in this division, and depending on what Fulham put out, it'll be good enough to challenge a Premier League side. I have no doubt about that. The bench on Saturday was tremendous, tremendous. And think of the people, Dembele and Roberts, who couldn't even get on the bench. We are that good, potentially. Anyway, I'd like to just wish a happy holiday to my friend Craig Courtney, and come back for Monday's Tilton Talk Show 6:30. With Craig will be back, and Craig tends to be the man in when this thing's going on at St Andrews. He tends to find out. So listen in on Monday, and I'll see you in my Wednesday spot next Wednesday, after the Fulham game and before we take on a Wigan game. Wigan again. Now then, I've got one thing before I go. I've got my season ticket. It's only come 2.5 weeks late. Well, if you count at the time when I paid for it, it's 3.5 months. But I've got my ticket, and thank you, Birmingham City, for taking so much trouble to get it me before the next home game. God bless you all. Keep right on. Love you guys.